Okay, well, we'll get this started. As a preliminary matter, this is Joyce Maturist of the Newbury Council on Aging Board of Directors. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. I'm going to start off with Bill.
Yes.
Evelyn.
Needs to unmute.
Yes, I see that. Evelyn, are you here? We know you're here.
Yes.
Okay. Jerry is absent. Janine,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes, here.
and Joyce here. And then I'm going to say Cindy.
Yes.
And I'm also going to mention Geraldine Heavey is here in our audience. And she may have a few things to say. And I also see Leslie Matthews from the planning board. I believe it's the planning board is here. Welcome, Leslie. And if you have any questions for us later, please feel free to ask them. All right, so we'll continue on. I think I have everybody.
Joyce, I just want to mention that Mike Doyle did call in to say he couldn't be here today.
Okay, he'll be missed. So, good morning, or no, let's start over. Good afternoon. This date of meeting is February 15th, 2021. It's an open meeting of the Council on Aging Board of Directors, and it's being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth and due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, in order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as responsible public access is afforded, so the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Council on Aging Board of Directors is convening by telephone conference video conference via Zoom as posted on the agenda of the COA Board of Directors section of the town's website, identifying how the public may join. You may join us by going to http://zoom.us and enter meeting ID 891-5079-3841. And I'm going to give a password, 359054, or by calling 1-929-205-6099. That's United States, New York. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and the attendees are participating by video and or telephone conference. We provided to the board committee members any provided material prior to the meeting for review, or there was no material for this meeting distributed. We did give out meeting minutes, and I think we also sent some plans and another set of minutes. So you do have materials that you have received electronically from Sandy and from Cindy. Applicants or their representatives may be called upon to speak, and if needed, share information to the screen. Please state intention after you have been called. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold your name until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone. Number 6 to toggle mute, unmute, or computer mute button when you are not speaking. Please use earbuds, earphones with tablets, cell phones. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. Please be aware that video participants can see you and that you should take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. Board committee members should be called upon in first name alphabetic order to ease the process. If board committee members wish to engage in familiar conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. Public comment. We move on. We have public. I'm going to read this whole thing. After the board committee members have spoken, the chair will afford the public comment as follows. The chair will see questions through the raised hand function. One, for video conference participants, and this function can be accessed by clicking on the participants option listed in the menu below the photo gallery. Hover your cursor in this area if you don't see it. Window will open and display on the right. On the bottom of this participant area, you will see the list of phone video participants. And on the bottom, you will see the ability on a button to raise hand. Please ensure your name is displayed. You may rename by using the more function next to your name. List your name, address, and then your question. Telephone participants can use their phone keypad while in Zoom meeting to raise hand by hitting 9. The chair will then see questions from the public and then hit the raise hand button in the order of which they are listed. The participant will be called on to identify their name and address and their question. The chair will afford the applicant of their representative the opportunity to reply. Your hand will be lowered when you have been given the floor for your question. The board will continue down the list of those in the raised hand column and again afford the applicant rep an opportunity to speak. Should there be a physical or electronic submittal of questions or concerns, they will be read for the record. And again, the applicant rep will be afforded the opportunity to speak. If the issues raised have not yet been addressed. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting shall be conducted by a roll call vote. Additional agenda items will be called upon and handled in the same manner. That's it. So the first thing I'm going to do is call to order. And then we are going to review and approve approval of February 8, 2021 meeting minutes. So I'll call each name. Bill. Did everybody approve the minutes? Are we ready? So I'm going to call everybody's name. I'm going to start with Bill. And Evelyn.
Do you want me to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Oh, thank you, Evelyn. I'm a little out of sorts, so that would be great.
Okay, done.
A second?
Yep.
Okay. Now we're going to take a vote. Bill? You're muted, hon.
Yes.
Okay. Shouldn't I say, is there any discussion? I think I hear them say that, so I'll say, is there any discussion? And I'll ask that. Bill?
No discussion.
I'm sorry, Cindy. Evelyn?
No, all set.
Okay. Janine?
No.
Sandy?
Approved, no question.
Okay. Joyce, no question. And now I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do it again for an approval. I don't know if this is right, but we're going to have to do it. Bill, do you approve the minutes?
Yes.
Evelyn?
Yes.
Janine?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
And I do too. So moving on. I'm passing it over to you, Cindy, for the review of the COA expenses at the last meeting.
Okay, since the last meeting, we've had quite a few expenses. The first one came out of our formula grant funds for the postal permit, which is our bulk permit that we use to mail the newsletter. So I put $1,000 into that postal permit account from the formula grant funds. The next group is out of the regular department expenses, and they are mostly office supplies. So the first one is for Amazon for $7.88. Those were some dividers for Freeing Binders. Karen is organizing some volunteer information. Then I have $44.95. That's for the little clear mailing seals that we use when we fold and seal the newsletters. The next one was a reimbursement to me for $55. I bought a roll of stamps to have here in the office. Ordinarily, we'll take things over to town hall and use the postage machine there. But if we need to send something out sort of right away, we do send out different things. People call for Shine information, which is Medicare. We send them a little packet that they then return to us, and we get in touch with the Shine counselor. Sometimes when we've had vaccine clinics and people have not had an email address and we've had their confirmation, sometimes they want us to send them a hard copy of it. So we have stamps here in the office. Also for things like a thank you note to someone. When I get donations, I like to send a thank you note out. I usually stamp it just here in the office and put it in the mailbox. And the last expense for this account was $6.99 for Amazon as well. And again, that was office supplies. And then the last grouping of expenses all came out of the Elder Services COVID Relief Grant. The first one was for $27.99 to Amazon. That was for colored pencils. We did 3 different groupings of activity kits that we advertised in the newsletter. One was colored pencils and adult coloring books. So that was part of that expense. The next group of expenses was $22.20 also to Amazon. That was for bottled water. In our next grab and go, which is this Wednesday, we're putting a bottle of water in each bag. Again, from Amazon, $113.39. This was for a bunch of those activity kits. So it included the shopping bags that we put them in, 3 paint by number kits, muffin tins and wooden spoons, the adult coloring books, and loaf pans. So we did baking kits from Stonewall Kitchen, and we threw in a wooden spoon and a couple of disposable pans in the bag for people to come pick up. The next expense was to Roots to Wings Yoga and Healing Center. They did a recorded class that is running on Channel 9. That was for $100. The next grouping is reimbursement again to me for $142.74. This is for the Stonewall Kitchen mixes. I'm sorry, that was a total of $77.85. I went to Michael's and got some supplies. Let me just get to the Michael's receipt. I believe that was also for bags. When we did the paint by number kits, they did not come on a frame, so we got some like a foam poster board kind of, so that people could put their canvas on the foam poster board and be able to paint it easier. The next one was for Walmart. I got some Irish tea bags, Irish breakfast tea bags. Those are going in the grab and go meal on Wednesday as a little gift. More water bottles. That was from Stop and Shop for $2.99. Again, Walmart, I went back to get more because we only had 50 tea bags in a box, and we had a discussion here and decided to put 2 tea bags in each grab and go meal, and we have 50 meals being picked up. The next one was to Target for $2.86. That was for pens. So one of the other activity kits we've decided to do is little note cards from a gift shop in Newburyport from a local artist, and she took photographs of things around the area. So on Plum Island and Newburyport, and she took the photograph and she painted over it, and they're little note cards. So we're putting a grouping of 5 note cards, envelopes, stamp on the envelope, and a pen. And that's another activity kit for someone to do that we're going to advertise. I don't know if you know this, but April is National Card and Letter Writing Month. So we thought it'd be a great way to kind of stimulate people to stay in touch with someone. And then the last item on the reimbursement to me was for $28 for Greetings by Design. And that's where I got the note cards, which they were really generous, and they gave us quite a discount so that we got, I believe it's a total of 20 note cards for the $28. So that was all of our expenses. Sandy, if you have specific questions about any of those, let me know and I can send you an email.
Okay.
And did you want me to continue, Joyce, with my update?
Yes, please, if you'd go ahead with your update. Thank you.
Okay. So we received 3 donations. The first was from Susan Ricker for $25. She had sent in a check that just said contribution on it. The next one was from David Winters, again for $25. He actually included that in his survey that he sent in to the Council on Aging. And the third one was from Brittany and Andrew Bowie, again for $25. And that was part of the Santa Claus photos with Select Board member Mike Doyle. All right, moving on, the March-April newsletter. We mailed out 2,078 newsletters. Bill had brought over the 2,000 printed surveys. And then I just printed, I made copies here, the 78 other copies that needed to go out. So those were all mailed on February 25th. And then I emailed to 86 people the newsletter and directed those people to our website to complete the survey. It was also posted on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are starting to get a lot of good feedback about the virtual programs that we're putting on Channel 9, especially those exercise programs. People are calling to let us know that they're so happy to see them. So that's great. We had put in the newsletter kind of like a guide, kind of letting people know what day and what time those programs are on and when they can see them. Karen has been working diligently to refresh programming, so there'll be an update in the next newsletter. Things might change a little bit, but the timing should stay the same so that people will start getting used to those are the days and times that you'll see programs from the Council on Aging. So we did start a Neil Diamond tribute last Saturday. That will be on, I believe, every Saturday and Sunday for the next 2 months, I believe. She is working on a program with the Registry of Motor Vehicles. A woman from the RMV is going to come to Town Hall to be recorded, talking about several different issues, how to get a real ID, like all kinds of different, how to access the RMV during COVID, all kinds of different things that she's going to record. And we'll put that on Channel 9. We have another program from Roots to Wings. It's a healing yoga and Tai Chi program. The Gordon College Center for Balance had done a program in person. I think it was over at the library. So I asked Karen to reach out to them and they had a couple of different programs that were pre-recorded. So we're putting those on Channel 9. Some great exercises for people. The woman who does them, she has a really nice, sort of calm voice. They're showing you all of the exercises they're doing and explaining everything. So it was really nice. We liked that one. Karen's working with the Alzheimer's Association on an educational programming. We are going to do a Red Sox virtual tour in May. That will be announced in the next newsletter as well. It's going to be a program via Zoom. So I know that's still a new thing to people, but we're reserving 10 spots. So it's a virtual tour, and then I believe there's like a question and answer and kind of trivia section after. So that will be great. She just reached out to a VNA to do a program. I believe it's on strokes and how to see the warning signs and whatnot. So she's in the midst of working on that. And then we're working with a group called the Theater Workshop, and that's students in grades 3 through 12. They are going to do some like public service announcements for us. For example, we have our program coming up in April where we're going to have the Changing Tides food truck come here, and we're going to have town leadership here to be able to mingle with residents, answer questions. So this group from the Theater Workshop is going to do like a little recorded commercial almost for that, and we'll put it on Channel 9. So they're really interested in partnering with us for things like that. So we want to work on that with them. We're also going to work with them on sort of advertising the transportation that's offered here. So the van and the NEAT program and whatnot. And we'll kind of, again, it's like a commercial that we'll put on Channel 9. They are also very interested in doing outdoor home visits to people. They are working on a couple of different songs and performances. They have costumes and they're making these big paper mache puppets. So we are trying to work with Janet in outreach to figure out sort of some great people that would be good recipients for that. Evelyn, I'll tell you that when we spoke to the director of this program, she was very interested in going over to Quaker Hill and Oak Ridge too, if we can use that little grassy area, like in the middle if you're good with that.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, we'll keep you posted if we sort of identify, we might identify like a resident or two, and then whoever comes out to watch it is more than welcome. But it's just a kind of a great way to keep connected and intergenerational activity. So it's in the works. Obviously weather, like today, we see you, Sandy, in your tank top. We're not wearing tank tops up here today. It's awful cold. So that's probably going to be something more towards the end of April into May. So I'll keep you posted about that. But there's a lot going on in terms of programming. As I mentioned, our grab and go meal is scheduled for this Wednesday, St. Patrick's Day. We ordered 50 meals. I want to say as of today, 44 meals have been reserved. So we still have a few left. The little gift we're giving, I mentioned we're going to put a bottle of water in there, the 2 Irish breakfast tea bags, and a little Irish blessing bookmark. It's just a little gift to kind of let people know we're thinking of them. It's not just the meal that they're getting. It is a corned beef and cabbage meal too this month. As I mentioned, those activity kits are a pretty big seller. I believe I have 1 paint by number left, 1 adult coloring book left, and a few of the kitchen, the Stonewall kitchen baking kits. Those seem to be a big seller. So we did a blueberry muffin mix, a cornbread mix, and a cinnamon swirl quick bread mix. Everyone who's come to pick up an activity kit, we did ask them to take a photo of themselves with the completed project so we can put it out there. We got the sweetest picture of this woman in her little apron holding her, I think it was a cornbread, and she held up the box too. So we're going to put that out on Facebook and stuff so people can see it, and hopefully it will generate more. So I mentioned we're doing the note cards from that local artist. Her name is Angela Chickless. I don't know if any of you are aware of her. We're thinking of gardening kits, maybe having like a pot and some soil and some seeds, that kind of a thing. Just again, something for people to do at home. More Stonewall baking kits. If anyone has any suggestions for things you can think of that you think people might like to do, we'd love to know. We just want to kind of try and keep in contact with people, but give them something fun to do. You know, they come pick it up. It's all of these things are being purchased through that grant from Elder Services as a way to continue outreach to the community. So they're not paying any bit for it. It's just something they can come and pick up and go home and do, and hopefully it brings them a little bit of joy for the afternoon. The outdoor program that we're going to do is scheduled for Thursday, April 22nd. That is the outdoor coffee and chat. Again, like I said, the food truck will be here for people to grab a coffee and a pastry or whatever if they feel they want that, or if they just want to come and speak to town leadership. I did ask our Friends president to come. She will be here. If any of you can make it, that would be great. I've reached out to Tracy Blaze, and she's mentioned it to Geraldine. You might know, I believe she mentioned it to you at the select board as well. If anybody can come, that would be great. We are going to print some flyers up and post them around. Evelyn, we're going to hit you up again for putting some flyers at your locations. We'll also go over to Newbury Village. We'll put some at the library, at Town Hall. We'll get the message out there that we really want to promote this to people. We did have a friends group meeting the end of February. The most recent newsletter has a whole page dedicated to them, sort of explaining who they are. There's a little tear off part if someone wants to become part of the Friends. They are a limited group and they are hoping to grow. So if you know anyone who would like to volunteer, it's a great group. They are working to raise funds for us to have more programming. They did just purchase our batteries for our AED devices. They pay for the gas for the van. So they're very involved. They like to have, they do the volunteer luncheon. I believe they do the holiday luncheon as well, which neither of those two things happened this year, but hopefully next year they will. But they're an important group. And I know that Deb Kennedy, who chairs that board, is working on an appeal letter to send out to people in terms of donations as well. So whether people can volunteer or donate, it's very much appreciated. As far as volunteers go, for the month of February, Karen had 55 hours of volunteer time through prepping for the newsletter, telephone reassurance calls. We have 2 volunteers who deliver library books and other materials from the library on Fridays. people doing grocery shopping, and then obviously you guys as the board members, for a total of 17 volunteers. So we increased that by 13 hours and 4 volunteers, so that's great. We have new NEAT drivers as well. I want to say we're up to 9 NEAT drivers now, which is very helpful, especially regarding vaccine clinics. We've had some people say they can't get there, and we've worked that out, whether it be through NEAT drivers or we actually use the van for a couple to go down to a COVID vaccine clinic. So that's actually my next point, was the vaccine clinics. So we are getting lots of calls. We're encouraging people to call us to get on our wait list. Whenever we know that there's a clinic happening, we start going down that wait list. We start with the 75 plus folks who have called us. And then once we've reached all of them, we'll go to our 65 plus. And then people that are under 65 that have the 2 comorbidities, we happen to be calling them as well if they're on our wait list. So we had, let me see, we had a clinic that was at Holy Family Parish in Amesbury. 16 seniors received their first and second doses already. We did a clinic at the Page School in West Newbury. We had 10 seniors who participated in that, received their first and second dose. We had a clinic through Elder Services of the Merrimack Valley and North Shore. They did a clinic at their Danvers location. We set up 15 seniors and they just received their second dose the end of last week. And then this past weekend, we did a first dose at the Amesbury High School. I don't know if you guys saw that on the news. It was featured, which was great to get the publicity for that. So we had booked 60 people. And the way this was set up for us, we had the regional collaborative group of Council on Aging directors was given 25% of those allotted doses for us to call people on our wait lists. So we each were allotted 60 slots. So we filled all 60 of those slots. People got their first dose last Saturday. Their second dose will be on April 3rd. So that was really great. So moving on to transportation, we have used the van for, we took a couple to a clinic at the Elder Services Clinic in Danvers. We brought someone to a medical appointment at Leahy Peabody, another resident to a medical appointment in Newburyport. And Jim, our driver, has just completed all of his training. He had to go through several online trainings, and then he had to actually go in person to do a practicum to show that he knew how to secure a wheelchair, knew how to use the lift, like all that kind of stuff. So he had to do the training piece online and then go and do that. So that is all completed. So that's great. The only thing that's left for him, and quite honestly, I'm going to have the rest of us do, is CPR, first aid, and AED training. So I did reach out to the fire department here in town, and they've directed me to McNeely EMS, which I've sent an email to the woman who coordinates those programs, asking her if I can schedule a time for us all to be trained in all of those things. Next is our newsletter. We're going with a new printer. So I don't know if any of you have received the copy in the mail. To me, it was a very disappointing printout. It's all black and white. It's somewhat difficult to read. The printing it was not a good quality, and it's not what I wanted. So I researched with other councils on aging in the area. I got lots of feedback. I had to get several quotes. And I obviously wanted to go with one that would, like the one that we had, was covered by ads. So the company that we're going with is called LPI, and the newsletter is at no cost to us. They work to get all the advertisers. So that is why I had reached out to you all to say, does anybody know of, business in the area that might be willing? So they have an ad executive who's assigned to us. She was here for a couple of days last week, making phone calls from here. Kind of looks great when she's calling people right here from us to say, I'm working with the Newbury Council on Aging. So she is in process. We will have a complimentary newsletter through LPI for the month of May, which will have no ads in it. And then as of the June, July issue, you'll see the ads in the newsletter. So they were very gracious and helped us out with May, because the previous printer was unhappy that I had ended the contract with him, which quite honestly, I went through town council and it was not, it was out of compliance. So I needed to end it anyways. But I wanted to move on to something that was going to be much better. So this is all color. The design, I'm going to work with designers. It's going to be similar to what I have now, but it's going to be a bit more polished and professional. So something that I wanted to raise the bar on the newsletter. It's an important piece of what we do here. Again, we get a lot of great feedback about that. People are so happy to see the newsletter. I know it stopped there for a bit, so they're quite happy to have the contact. So I'm just going to raise it up a little bit in terms of color and print quality, and I think everybody will be really happy with it. One thing I did want to mention to everybody was that conflict of interest training. I know a few of you have sent me the online training certificate, as well as that piece that was in the email that just says that you received it. If you can all just send me that acknowledgement form and then complete the training and print out your certificate and send me that would be great. I did add 2 more phone lines here at the Council on Aging. We are in the process of that right now. Currently, we have 2 phone lines plus a line for the fax machine. When we were trying to make phone calls during all of these COVID vaccine clinics, when there was 3 of us here in the building and only 2 of us could make calls, it was wasteful for one. I mean, you know, if I didn't grab the phone quick enough, I'm just sitting there waiting to grab a phone line. So I did speak to IT. Someone from Comcast was here last week. He added the lines. The gentleman from the actual telephone company came in, and he's working with IT to get that all situated. Hopefully they will come in on Friday of this week. I will meet them here and we should get everything set up. It's also going to involve specific voicemails, so that if I'm on the phone, or if I take the phone call from someone and they need to speak with Janet, let's say, and Janet's on another line, I can dump them right into her voicemail directly. So it's not just some kind of floating random thing. Hopefully it will give a little bit more specificity when people call. Plus it will allow all of us to be able to make or take phone calls, which will be helpful. I also ordered 2 canopies for outdoor use. I reached out to other Council on Aging directors to see what they have for outdoor use. A lot of them have outdoor space where they have these canopies up and they stay up, and we don't have that option. So I went a little bit cheaper route, and I got 2 canopies. They're a little bit smaller, but it's something that I can have DPW help us put up and take down same day. Come with a carrying case. Again, the funds to pay for that will come out of that Elder Services COVID relief grant, because that's part of outreach and programming. And then I just wanted to mention the space needs. I did email with Jeff Shaw. He is working on a concept design. I believe it's a sketch of the full piece altogether. So it will give us a little bit better feel. I haven't heard from him yet. I know he's working on it. So as soon as I hear something, I will keep you all posted. And I know that was a lot of info, but that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. And I wanted you to know that when we get to the agenda where the space need discussion, I was going to ask you to participate in that. Would you have something to say on that today?
Just basically, I'm just waiting for Jeff to send me
Okay.
that.
You've said
that's it.
that already, so,
Yep.
okay. All right, thank you. So what I wanted to do is give everybody a chance if you have any questions for Cindy. So I'll start with Bill. Bill, do you have anything you'd like to ask Cindy?
No, I don't. Just a comment that she's doing a great job.
Yes, that's a great comment. Okay. And then let's move on to Evelyn.
Hi. Basically, I just wanted to say that the comments that I'm hearing from the elderly are positive, and the word that is used a lot when they tell me they've called the Council on Aging is kind, how kind the people were. So that's a plus. And also on the vaccine centers, I've had different people go to different centers to get the shot, and without exception, there has been positive comments again about how helpful people were, how really nice they were. So that was good. And the second thing I wanted to mention, Cindy, you mentioned seeds and those types of things, garden type things. And I often wondered if it would be possible to have somewhere in the town of, Newbury, a spot where people could do community gardening. I know other towns have done it. And I don't know how to go about finding out if someone has a piece of land that they'd like to turn into a community garden, but just keep it in mind if you think it's something people would enjoy doing. You know, a lot of the elderly can't physically go do that, but we have a lot that could.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that idea. I'll look into that. Does Newbury have a garden club? A lot of towns have a garden club. Do you know if Newbury has one?
Yeah, ask Jerry that. She's,
Okay.
you're still with us, Jerry?
I am. Yes, I'm the former president of the Newbury Garden Club.
Okay.
Yeah, the current president is Donna Seim, Seim, on Middle Road, and yeah, I other people, or at least when I was campaigning, another person had said, you know, wouldn't a community garden be very nice? If it's primarily for the elderly, I'd suggest, is there any kind of land around, you know, like the elderly housing, so they don't have to worry about getting in a car and traveling. Just a thought. The other thought I have is we've got all of this space over at Manta Field.
Okay. As far as Oak Ridge, it would have to be a rice paddy.
Okay.
We have a pool of water in back of us. Quaker Hill, it wouldn't be accessible.
Okay. All right. Good enough.
Okay, I can look into it though. Thank you.
Janine, did you
Yeah,
have?
Yeah, I had a couple things.
Sure.
The community garden, I think that's a great opportunity. And if we could make it a multi-generational thing rather than just elderly, I think it would
Right.
be fabulous. You know, and maybe some of the younger, you know, school kids or families would partner up with an older person that might not be able to physically do a lot of that, you know, and then, I mean, that's just a great idea. So that's awesome. The concept design on the new COA.
Oh, can we save that for when it's on the agenda?
Sure. I just was gonna. Okay. Yep. Just a
Okay,
question.
that'd be great, because we're gonna have an open conversation on that also.
Okay. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, so Sandy,
All set.
okay. And me, I have no questions, but I do want to congratulate you also, Cindy, on a great job. You're going into many, many different things that I think are very exciting, and I really appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. You
So,
got it.
thank you. So the next on the agenda is the Council on Aging survey. We have two people that have been involved in this. Bill, I'm going to start with you and see if there's anything you want to bring us up to date on, or
Sure. I can tell you that as of the pickup I made Thursday, I think at the Council on Aging, I've gotten 159 surveys, which I've entered into my Excel spreadsheets. I'm not too familiar with how to try to share that with you, but I'm gonna press a button that says share content. And we'll see
Okay,
if it comes on your screen. Only the host can share in this meeting. Okay, I can't do that. So I'll just have to verbalize. I've gotten 159 surveys. About 110 of them came from the online surveys. I got that information from Susan. And the online survey responses did not list ages. But I can tell you that of the 48 people that reported their age, the average age was about 75.8 years. 60 residents live alone. 97 do not live alone. 109 have family in the area. 47 do not. And some of these numbers will not add up exactly because some of the survey responses did not contain answers to some of our questions. Okay. The majority of surveys came from Byfield. There were 80 responses from Byfield, 47 from Old Town, and 32 from Plum Island. And the overwhelming social media use seems to be Facebook, 90 people, followed by Instagram, followed by Twitter, and 45 people said they don't use social media. As far as the questions go, I'm still plotting some of that out for the 120 online survey responses because it was difficult to extract that information from what I got from Susan Noyes. But I can tell you that the overwhelming activity choice seems to be exercise classes followed by art classes and then crafts, no cost educational things, and trips to restaurants. As far as services, as you'd expect, it'd be no surprise. Flu shots and COVID vaccinations was the overwhelming service that people were looking for, followed by grab and go meals and congregate meals and opportunity and space to speak to staff, town officials, and state representatives. That data is still not complete because I need to extract probably 50 more responses from the online information I got from Susan Noyes. And then for top worries and concerns, it would be questions 8 and 9. Health seems to be the number one concern. And for the general items about seeing friends more often, they're pretty much all in a tie. But what you'll see when I'm able to display this to you is that I just have those categories and I just put an X in a block for every response that I get against each category. And I'll be able to tally up all those X's and say what percentage of the people think this is important, so on and so forth. So that's as current as I am. It's a pretty labor intensive task to add this stuff in manually. But right now I've processed all the surveys I have with the exception of some of the data from the online survey. And I'll probably have that wrapped up as soon as I finish my income taxes.
Okay, Bill, I really want to thank you, and don't mute yourself because I'm going to give an opportunity to others to thank you and also to see if they have any questions. I really appreciate the time that this has taken, and it's tedious, I'm sure. And I wanted to know if, can that be forwarded to Cindy and she could put it up and you could explain it?
Sure.
Not now. No, not now. In the
Okay.
future. I'm just wondering where the host has to show it.
Sure.
And when you're ready to show it, you're in
Okay.
no rush on that. I just wanted to know if that's something that technically could be done so that you can show us your great work.
Yeah, it's very possible. I just forwarded the Excel spreadsheet to so I could pull it up on my iPad, and unfortunately I can't share it. The host can, and I'll send it to Cindy. And next time we have a board meeting, I'd be glad to go through it online.
Oh, that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Okay.
and interesting. So I wanted, Sandy, have you heard anything from Susan that you think we'd be interested in, or have she's not contacted you as there's no need?
I've actually handed the baton over to Bill and have not really been in touch with Susan at all. And thank you, Bill, because I would be totally lost doing this. I couldn't do this at all. I really
Oh, that's
appreciate
nice.
you taking care of that.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
great.
Thank you
Yeah.
for the baton.
He said with
Well,
tongue in cheek.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask just to see if there's anybody else that has a particular question. So I can't start with Bill, but I'll go to Evelyn. Evelyn, do you have any questions on the survey?
Yes, I wanted to ask, I didn't hear you mention the walking club. And it seemed like there were many positive responses over in Byfield anyway, about a walking club. And I don't really need to know the number, but this might be something for Jerry as a select person. I think there is a real need for walking spaces, trails in, I keep on saying Byfield because I live here, but Newbury for everyone. And I don't know where we are in the grand scheme of things for that, but would it be something you could look into, Jerry?
Yeah, sure. I know that we've just committed money to connecting up the Newbury, what do you call it, rail trail on Parker Street. So that's a work in progress, and I was there this past week, and they put lights up so pedestrians can cross at the roadways, which is helpful. But yeah, I can look that up, follow that up. Yep.
Thank you.
Evelyn, I can tell you that 56 people so far have said they'd like to do exercise classes. And like I said, I haven't processed all the responses from the online survey, but the tally for walking club was 18.
18? Wow. I thought there was a lot more than that.
There may
Wow.
be when I tabulate more of the online surveys, but I processed the slug of surveys that you gave to Cindy that seem to come from Byfield.
Yeah.
And those are the numbers, but they're definitely going to change. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Nice.
you.
Okay, Sandy, did you have any questions, or is this a double question? Oh, you already spoke to Bill, so you're fine.
Yeah,
Oh, Janine, thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you, Bill, because that's a lot of work. And I think it's going to be so helpful to us as we move forward, trying to plan programs. And walking trails, if you could team up with Boy Scouts, they need Eagle projects, and that would be a great project for an Eagle Scout. So,
Oh, great idea.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff, they need projects. There's a lot of things that town officials could use them for, and they need, not only do they need projects, but they also need community time. So, and we do have a very active, really good scout troop in town, Troop 44. So.
Can I just ask Janine, I know over in Mansfield, the Boy Scouts were engaged in, I know I went to a town meeting and it was approved in I think they had to build like a little bridge or something and eventually connected over to Triton. Was that ever done?
That I don't know.
Okay.
I'm on the fringes with 44. I'm very active with Scouts groups in Newburyport because of our church is a sponsor for some. So I'm more active with them, but I do see a lot of what 44 is doing. And Mindy is fabulous with these kids.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
It's really good.
Okay. So in moving on,
Can I ask a question? Or I can
oh,
have more information
absolutely,
for you.
Les.
Yes, the bridge was built. It was done for Eagle Scout, Zach Went. And that was, it'll be, gosh, almost 2 years, this spring, I believe it is. So there were quite a few volunteers that went down. It's a partial, they're waiting for the other part to be done as well. Grueling work, but the kids got out there and there were a lot of parent volunteers that went out and helped as well. So it's a great thing for the kids. I think it's a great idea. Janine brought that up for more Eagle Scouts to be given that opportunity.
Thanks for the information, Leslie. That's great.
I know that this year, while I've been on the board, one of the Eagle Scouts, his project was to build disabled accessible picnic tables on Mantis Field. And when I drove by Mantis Field, I saw picnic tables that I had never noticed before. So he apparently has completed his goal of, I think, 6 picnic tables, which was a nice thing to do at Mantis Field.
That would really be a safe place for the elderly, I think, to walk.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Leslie, for that information. In moving on, the next one is the space needs discussion. And I am going to take the lead on that first. Before we go any further on this, I have an explanation and apology before we proceed. On February 24th, there was the meeting of the expansion committee, which was Evelyn, Sandy, and myself. And there was also Cindy, Alicia, and Tracy there. And at the time, we had the draft of the floor plan where Cindy had cut back the space. She felt that it was too large, and she can speak on this herself as time goes on, and probably would be better if she doesn't mind letting you all know what happened. You've seen the plans, I believe. She did send out a set of the plans to everybody that is dated February 15th. And I want you to know that these plans are simply just plans. We had to provide plans from for the space needs and also the actual needs of the Council on Aging. So they're strictly a set of plans. We're not approving anything else. We're just approving the plans. It's no building involved, no location involved. And I want you to know that because we're going to be voting on these plans today to approve them. And we're just approving the plans themselves. And these are the plans that Cindy felt would be adequate for what we need for a new Council on Aging, not for now, but in the future. And I was really happy to see on the survey, they're mentioning meals, because to me, that was very important to have a kitchen so that we could supply meals and company for one another, for the seniors to have a place to go and have a meal. And I would in the future like to see that it's something that perhaps at some point we even have a chef, like some of the other seniors do in the area. They're COAs and they give daily meals. They charge maybe $2 or $3, but it's something for them to look forward to. So I'm very excited about the survey showing that as a big number. Let's put it that way. That really made me happy. So the reason I'm speaking to you right now is I made a decision and it should have had the council's approval on those set of plans that day. You probably don't know that, but I wanted you all to know that. It should have had your approval. And I went ahead and told Cindy to go ahead and send it to Jeff, because the plans themselves, we weren't choosing the location. We were sending what Cindy had, her thoughts of why we needed this. And they're not permanent. You can change those plans anytime. Let me give you an example. If we move it, my decision to go ahead was to tell Jeff to put these together with the Council on Aging, and the Council on Aging. Oh, sorry, that's my cell phone. To go ahead and put it together with the proposed town hall and see where we were at square footage, whether it would work or not work, or we were going to have to cut. To do that, we would have to have less square footage and change the plans that Cindy had put together. As the director, she was doing what she was looking into. She was visiting other Council on Agings and seeing what they had. And then she put it all together and came up with what she thought should be there for our seniors. And then the first one, she did cut back. She eliminated some space. And I will have her just mention that. But the reason I'm talking to you first, I first of all wanted you to know it has nothing to do with the location and that I shouldn't have done that. But I was concerned about the time. And this was the first step. We had to eliminate whether or not we were going to go with the town hall or not go with the town hall, and then move on to the next step. And everything else further, you definitely will be coming before the board for a vote. But it was, what word could I use? It was a no-brainer. This was the first step. And it was almost a month, I think, in between that meeting and this upcoming meeting. And we're waiting to hear back from Jeff as he's working on that. And you've seen the plans. Like I say, they're not, you can change, we can do anything with them that we need to do in the future. And I'm going to have Cindy talk to you about the plans. And that's what we're approving, and give you an overview of what and why we have what we have. Can you do that, Cindy?
Yep, so just to speak to in terms of what we cut or what I suggested we cut out, there was discussion when we first started about thinking towards the future, obviously, and thinking would there be an increase in staff members. Right now, 2 of us are here 32 hours a week and 1 of us is here 15 hours a week. So if we were to increase, so the outreach coordinator is 15 hours a week. If we were to increase the need for more outreach, maybe that's a job share situation, was my thought. The initial draft came back with, I want to say, 5 or 6 offices. It was sort of I cut a couple of the office spaces out simply because I didn't think even in the future we were going to need that much office space. I didn't want to have sort of just empty offices sitting there. I obviously will utilize the space that I've suggested we put in here. There's an office for the director, there's an office for the program coordinator, and there's a separate office for the outreach coordinator. And then there's also an administrative area, which has a front desk. So sort of like a reception desk, you would think. And then behind that was 2 more workspaces, like cubicles almost. So there's plenty of administrative office space that I didn't think we needed to have the additional. I think it was 2 other separate offices. So I cut those out. In addition to that, I believe I cut out one of the quote unquote activity rooms, because we will have the small consult room, You know, that's for something like if we have a nurse come in to do a blood pressure clinic, or we have the Shine counselor here, or someone wants to meet with the local representative. It's a, you know, private room where they can do that. There's a large assembly room, a fit. These are, again, these are labeled as these rooms, but my goal is to have them be multi-purpose. There's a fitness room, an art room, and a lounge. In addition to that large assembly room and the kitchen. So I felt like that was a significant amount of space that we could utilize appropriately and not just have empty rooms all over the place, just to have them. It was what I felt like we could handle in terms of programming and then still give us room to grow into. So that was my thought process on why I cut a little bit of the space.
So I'm gonna have Janine, the rest of us, Janine and Bill were not at this meeting. So I'm going to give them an opportunity to see if they have any questions about the plans before we approve them or bring them up for an approval. So Janine, did you have a question?
So I didn't see a vote on our agenda, so I'm unprepared for this. I don't feel really comfortable about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The plans that you gave us, the last one sent out, were the ones that were cut back, and so they were February 15th, I think.
Yeah.
So we
yes.
all saw them, but they were just the ones that were in the rooms. They it wasn't a complete design, it was just the rooms themselves.
Right.
So that was what, 9,800 square feet?
I believe it was 9,800 square feet, I believe.
Okay, 9,800, okay.
Yeah.
These plans, nothing that are permanent. We just had to give him something. And we really feel that if we stay with the town hall, that they won't be permanent, but we would then have to venture out and find another location. But that's what we're waiting to find out, Janine. We just
Okay.
needed to something to give to them. They're not necessarily going to happen. And then they're going to go into, there's more to be approved. There's going to be floor plans.
Okay, so I'm just trying to put myself where I was last. I thought we had said, okay, those plans looked okay. We were gonna ask Jeff to then see if they would fit within the old town hall. So that's not going to happen.
Oh, that's what's happening now.
Oh. Okay, so we're gonna approve the plans that we saw and then go ahead and tell him to go ahead and see if they would fit.
No, no, he's just taking, us we've approved of the plans.
Okay,
And now that he has the plans, he's going to put them together with the town hall plans and see if that size building will fit on the site with the parking and all. That's the way I understand it.
that was my question. You answered that. Okay.
And I just want to make sure that I'm correct. Evelyn, do you agree? And Sandy, is that your understanding where we're at?
Yes, I think that we had decided due to comments that we should, a process of elimination, that we should visit the town hall, see if what we need would fit in the town hall, just to do our due diligence to make sure that we were exploring all possibilities. If it doesn't work, then we'll go on to the next site.
Let me read Sandy's minutes here because she did a very good job explaining it. Where she says we're requesting a rendition of this draft from Jeff to determine if the plans are feasible to fit with town hall. From the rendition, we can determine if what we require will fit in with the town hall plans, including parking. Number two, if it does not fit, determine we can amend the plans so it will fit if plans are not viable in town hall. We have shown due diligence in searching the best value for the town. We will be able to move on in search of another location. So, any questions, Janine? Okay. So I'm done with my presentation. I was going to ask if anybody had any questions for Cindy. Did I do that yet? I didn't do that of Bill. Bill, do you have any questions for Cindy?
Well, yes, I do. This is my question. When you sat down with this last meeting, the piece of paper you had in front of you was the proposal, the study done on 215?
Yes.
Okay. And now what you're talking about voting on today is a revision to that 215 package.
No, I should have brought that back to the board, those plans, and I should have gotten a vote from the town, from the Council on Aging Board, and I did not do that. So I'm
Okay.
backing this up and asking the board to take a vote on these plans.
When you say plans, Joyce, you're talking about what you verbalized at that meeting.
That's correct.
And
That's
what you
correct.
verbalized at that meeting, you asked Jeff to go back and make a rendition of what you verbalized.
That's right.
And you're asking the board to vote to approve of what you told Jeff to do.
Right.
Okay. Okay. And then
And
you're gonna determine, once that's done, if that fits within the space of the town hall.
Right, and all of that will come before all of you to make a
Okay.
decision. This
Okay.
was something that we had to move forward. We had to start somewhere.
No, I understand. I understand, because the town needs to move out on the town hall, and if this fits with it, it would be nice to launch it all quickly.
Right,
Okay, fine. I'm fine with what you did.
okay. Go ahead, Sandy.
Just to maybe make it a little clearer for Janine and Bill and Leslie and Geraldine, at the meeting, we were looking at it and we were saying, we don't really know this is going to fit in town hall. We're not really positive of it. But because we want to be fair to the town and go the most economical way and make sure that we check every avenue for us to do the best for the town, we thought, okay, Jeff, here is the plan. He brought the plan. We didn't change that plan that he brought to us. We said, we can't go to the select board at all until we know we don't know if it can go in town hall or it has to go to another place. And so we needed Jeff to do that so we could determine it. And that's why we said for him to go ahead and do it. And now Joyce is begging forgiveness because we said for him to do that. It's just so that we can make an educated guess and move forward. That's why we did it. And we probably should have brought it before the board first, but we're trying to get this moving.
I would have done the same thing.
Well, it's just to make you guys understand what we did. We didn't really change much. We just pretty much said, okay, well, we want to take this to the select board, but we can't really ask them anything because we don't know where it'll fit yet.
Mhm.
So
Okay, thank you.
that's kind of what it is.
Thank you.
So now we have to make a motion for this, and The motion is needed by the Board of Directors for the following as submitted by the Expansion Committee for the Newbury Senior Center to move forward with the plan submitted to Contact Architecture. And I don't know Jeff's last name. Cindy, do you know it?
Shaw, SHAW.
Okay, submitted to Jeff Shaw, and this motion will allow the expansion committee to authorize Jeff Shaw to draw up a tentative plan to make a determination if plan will accommodate existing town hall located at the High Road location in Newbury, Mass. This motion to accept is non-binding to allow expansion committee the right to proceed with alternative sites or to change design plans as may be needed. And do I have a motion? Do I have a second on this motion?
Is the motion made?
Um,
I would make that motion that Joyce just articulated.
And I'll second.
Thank you. Now let's take the vote, please. I'm
And I
going
just
to,
ask a question about it.
oh, absolutely. I'm sorry, I should have done that.
The last sentence or two, it says to allow the expansion committee to go ahead. Does that
Oh,
mean,
all right,
can we have a
why
friendly
don't we
amendment?
just say to allow the Council on Aging?
Yeah, because I mean, that would allow you
Yeah,
guys
that
to do
sounds
it without
better.
us, without Bill or I's input.
Yeah, that's right, I'm sorry. The motion to accept is non-binding to allow the Council on Aging the right to proceed, the Newbury Council on Aging with the right to proceed. You got that, Sandy?
No, you'll have to send it to me.
Oh, okay. I gotta write it down then. Of
So
course
I
I'll
would
have
make,
to send it.
I would make a motion to accept the motion that Joyce just made with that revision.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll
Now
second.
we'll take the vote and let me get my list of voters here. Bill?
I would grant you forgiveness.
Thank you,
Yes.
Bill. I didn't feel guilty at all then. I really thought it was, they'll approve this. It's a no-brainer.
You did the right thing. You did the right thing.
Thank you. Okay, and then second on my list
Evelyn needs.
is
to be-
Evelyn.
Yeah.
Ev, did you say you approved?
I did.
Oh, thank you. And then Janine?
I say yes. Process can be very tricky, though. So thank you.
Sorry, we'll get it right the next
Nope.
time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Sandy
Yes.
and Joyce, yes. So it's approved. Okay. And any other business? Anybody have anything else that they would want to talk about before we adjourn? Bill?
No, I'm all set, thanks.
Okay. Evelyn?
No,
Janine?
No.
Okay. Sandy?
Just want to throw something out. This meeting lasted quite a while. If we wanted to, if we felt we were going to have lots of business, I would entertain having 2 a month if anybody wanted to think about that.
Okay.
It just put it in our mind and think about it, maybe address it the next time.
Okay.
I mean, then it might make things move better. I don't know.
Yeah, I got it. Something to think about with what's going on while we're trying to build a new COA center.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And Joyce, I have no further questions. Leslie, do you have a question for us?
I just want to give a little background on Jeff Shaw. He works for Context Architecture. And it was that company that did the design for the police station.
Right. We know that. I got called out this morning, which I didn't expect. I had to go to my accountant and sign something for the taxes, and that took more time away and from me from doing my motion and everything. So I apologize that I wasn't prepared. I would have looked all this up.
I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention that his organization has been involved with the town of Newbury pretty much close to 4+ years now.
Right.
And they did what they were trying to do when they were trying to do the combined town hall and the police station. So they're very familiar with our town, and I think it's probably a good choice that, you have them involved.
Oh, thank you, Leslie. We appreciate your input. Thank you.
Welcome.
And it was nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you. I enjoyed it.
All right. So let's, I don't think there's anything else I have to do to adjourn. I guess, oh no, I have to take a vote to adjourn.
Aren't you, don't have to ask the citizens if they have any questions?
Oh, thank you. Does anybody in the audience have any questions?
In case Jerry wanted to.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'd like to adjourn. Bill, do you say yes?
I think Jerry trying to ask a question?
No, I was just saying, I don't have anything to ask. I just was impressed with Cindy, how much work she had done. So I had heard good things about her and as a go-getter, and I certainly think that what she talked about today certainly proves that her reputation is well-deserved.
We all
Thank
agree.
you.
That's great. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, my pleasure.
Okay, so if there's no other questions, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn. And I'll start with Bill on his vote.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm not supposed to be making the motions. I'm getting that hint. Okay. Maybe we should have them twice a month so I can practice more.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Jean?
Yes.
Yes. Evelyn?
Yes.
And Joyce, yes. Motion to adjourn is accepted, and I guess we're adjourned. Thank you all. Bye.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.